Lina Khan, Chairwoman of the Federal Trade Commission, FTC, during the Joseph Biden administration until the assumption of Donald Trump, has established herself as a transformative figure in the field of antitrust law and market regulation. Appointed by President Joe Biden in 2021, Khan embodies the forefront of the New Brandeis movement, or Neo-Brandeisian, which advocates for a structuralist approach to combat the concentration of economic power, especially in the tech sector. Here, we examine her academic background, her theoretical contributions, her management at the FTC, and the debate surrounding her regulatory vision. We have dedicated a separate article to understanding the Brandeisian movement, named after Judge Louis Brandeis. We will develop an article on the ideas and the significant influence that Judge Brandeis had on American jurisprudence, and how his ideas, despite his passing in 1941, still illuminate the path of antitrust battles today, and how this has become a banner for something Brandeis never imagined: technocracy. Academic background and theoretical foundations. Lina Khan was born in 1989 in London, United Kingdom, and emigrated to the United States during her childhood. After graduating with honors from Williams College in 2010, she earned her Juris Doctor from Yale Law School in 2017. Her academic background was marked by an early critique of the neoliberal paradigm in antitrust law, dominated since the 1980s by the Chicago School, which prioritizes consumer welfare, measured by low prices, over other considerations such as fair competition or the distribution of economic power. Her seminal article, The Amazon Antitrust Paradox, Yale Law Journal, 2017, propelled her career. In it, Khan argued that Amazon's practices, such as subsidizing losses in certain sectors to dominate adjacent markets, bypassed legal scrutiny under the traditional framework, which did not capture the systemic risks of vertical integration and network effects. This work became a manifesto of the New Brandeis movement, which seeks to revive the antitrust principles of the early 20th century, focused on preventing the accumulation of power, not just high prices. Khan has championed three key theoretical axes: critical of consumer as the sole metric, questions whether consumer welfare, measured by prices, is sufficient to evaluate competition. In digital markets, companies like Facebook or Google offer free services while consolidating power through data control and the exclusion of competitors. Market power and democracy. Following Louis Brandeis, Supreme Court Justice, Khan links economic concentration with the erosion of democracy. Companies with systemic power can influence legislation, media, and public opinion. Legal framework updates proposes reinterpretation of existing laws, such as the Sherman Act, 1890, to address modern practices like vertical integration, the use of big data, and anti-competitive algorithms. Her management at the FTC, innovation, and controversy. As FTC chair since June 2021, Khan has driven a bold agenda that redefines the agency's role. 1. Focus on big tech, Meta, Facebook in 2021. The FTC supported a lawsuit to undo Meta's acquisitions of Instagram and WhatsApp, claiming that Meta suppressed competition through a buy or bury strategy. Amazon. Under his leadership, the FTC sued Amazon in 2023 for monopolistic practices, including using its platform to harm independent sellers. Microsoft Activision Blizzard. Khan questioned this $69 billion merger, highlighting risks to competition in the video game market. 2. Procedural reforms. Review of merger guidelines. In 2023, the FTC proposed updating the criteria for evaluating mergers, considering not only the impact on prices, but also on workers' innovation and long-term competitiveness. Prohibition of non-compete agreements. In 2023, the FTC proposed a rule to eliminate these agreements, which affect 30 million American workers. 3. Focus on non-technological sectors. Khan has expanded the FTC's scope to pharmaceuticals, energy, and agribusiness. For example, he blocked the merger of Lockheed Martin and Aerojet Rocketdyne, 2022, citing risks to defense competition. Critiques and debates on Professor Khan's action. Khan's management has generated both praise and questions: innovation versus regulation. Critics like economist Tyler Cowen argue that her approach could stifle innovation by discouraging investments in high-risk sectors. Legal feasibility. Some legal experts, such as Richard Epstein, contend that her theories exceed the legal mandate of the FTC, requiring legislative changes rather than reinterpretations. Political resistance. Business sectors and Republican politicians have accused Khan of exceeding her authority, pushing motions to limit the FTC's powers. Her legacy and future perspectives. Lina Khan represents a turning point in global antitrust policy. Her influence extends beyond the US. The European Union and authorities in India and Australia have adopted similar approaches to regulate digital markets. In the long term, her legacy will depend on judicial outcomes. If lawsuits against Meta, Amazon, and others succeed, they would set precedents for dismantling monopolies. Legislative change. Initiatives like the American Innovation and Choice Online Act 2023, which prohibits large platforms from favoring their own services, could institutionalize their ideas. Global impact. Developing countries are observing their model to balance corporate power and economic sovereignty. From a global perspective, Lina Khan embodies a renaissance of antitrust as a tool for economic justice and democracy. Her vision, although polarizing, has redefined the debate on corporate power in the 21st century. As she wrote in the Yale Law Journal, antitrust laws are not mere technical rules. They are guardians of a fair economic order. In a world where tech giants operate as parallel states, her commitment to regulated capitalism charts a bold path whose fruits and risks will shape the coming decades. International influence, a model for the world. Lina Khan's vision has transcended U.S. borders, inspiring regulatory reforms across multiple jurisdictions, such as in the European Union, the Digital Duo, and beyond. Digital Markets Act, DMA, 2022. The EU adopted rules prohibiting digital guardians, such as Google and Apple, from favoring their own services, an approach aligned with Khan's demands against Amazon and Meta. Margrethe Vestager, European Competition Commissioner, has acknowledged the influence of the Neo-Brandeis movement on the DMA. Investigations into big tech. The European Commission has coordinated efforts with the FTC in cases like Microsoft Activision, reflecting a transatlantic strategy against concentration of power. In developing countries, technological sovereignty and antitrust. India, the Competition Commission of India, CCI, fined Google in 2022 for abusing its dominant position in Android, citing arguments similar to Khan's regarding anti-competitive network effects. Brazil, Bill PL 2768/2022 aims to regulate practices of digital platforms, inspired by Khan's structuralist approach. In multilateral forums, Khan has actively participated in the OECD and the G7 to promote global standards that prioritize equity over efficiency, challenging the dominant neoliberal consensus since the 1980s. The focus on labor rights and economic inequality. Under her leadership, the FTC has expanded its scope to address not only competition but also inequality. Prohibition of non-compete agreements. In January 2023, the FTC proposed a rule to eliminate these agreements affecting 30 million workers, arguing that they suppress wages and labor mobility. Fighting mergers that harm workers. In 2022, the FTC blocked the merger of Penguin Random House and Simon & Schuster, claiming it would reduce opportunities for authors, setting a precedent by considering the impact on providers, not just consumers. The institutional transformation of the FTC. Khan has restructured the agency to face modern challenges. The creation of the Technology Office, 2022, a team of engineers, data scientists, and AI experts to investigate discriminatory algorithms and anti-competitive practices on digital platforms. Proactive compliance approach. Increased use of Section 5 of the FTC Act, which prohibits unfair methods of competition, to pursue practices not covered by traditional antitrust laws. Reactions from the academic community and the evolution of the Neo-Brandeisian movement. Khan's rise and work have revitalized academic debate. He has received significant support from scholars such as Tim Wu, Biden advisor, and Zephyr Teachout, who have praised his approach as a return to the progressive roots of antitrust. He has faced criticism from the Republican right, as we have seen, but also from the left, such as from Matt Stoller and others, who argue that the FTC should be more aggressive in dismantling existing monopolies, not just preventing mergers. He has also had a significant impact on legal education. Universities like Yale and Harvard have incorporated courses on structuralist antitrust, generating a new generation of lawyers trained under his principles. Future challenges and risks. Khan has faced significant obstacles that could define her legacy. Judicial resistance, where some judges trained at the Chicago School, such as Neil Gorsuch, have questioned her expansive interpretations of the law. Political sustainability, as her agenda depends on the continued support of the Democratic Party. A change in administration in 2024 could reverse her progress. The need to maintain a balance between innovation and control, a balance that involves regulating tech companies without hindering advances in artificial intelligence and biotechnology, which are particularly key areas. An expanded conclusion, Lina Khan and the rebirth of economic democracy. Lina Khan is not just a regulator. She is an architect of a new paradigm where economic power is dispersed and democracy is strengthened. Her fight against digital giants, her emphasis on workers' rights, and her global vision have positioned the FTC as a regulatory beacon in an increasingly corporate world. However, her success will depend on turning legal victories into lasting structural changes. As she herself warned, antitrust is a marathon, not a sprint. In that race, Khan has already changed course, but the goal, a fair and dynamic market, remains elusive. Her legacy, however, is already indelible. She has demonstrated that, even in the age of algorithms, laws can be tools of emancipation,